Hi everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and tonight we're about to watch episode 3 of House of Dragon season 3. I know that I am actually dropping this pretty late than usual, and that was because I think I've actually warned about this before, but I had warned about the fact that there was going to be one other Sunday that there was going to be an overlap with a World Cup match, which happened to be today. And it actually happened to be none other than Mexico versus England, which is, of course, I mean, if you've seen the match, you'll see how incredibly crazy that game was. I mean, what madness. I think it was a good decision not to miss that match. So, I think I've warned about this before. This happened also as well with the House of Dragon premiere. I think it overlapped with one other game back then, and I had suspected there was going to be another one, which was actually happening to be this episode. But now that the game is over and I've now had the time to kind of digest from that, we're now getting down to episode 3. So just bear with me. I know it's going to take a little bit of time to get this up, but yeah. Episode 3, I think right now we're all just anticipating what's going to be the aftermath of last week's episode. I think without a doubt, last week's episode was one of the best episodes from House of the Dragon. I think, as I said before, I think with what happened with the second episode, I will admit that originally when the episode stuff had started, it seemed really quick. It seemed it was going by really fast, and I was very concerned about that. You know, how quickly the episode was moving, considering the fact that we already know that the show is going to end by season 4. So I thought they were kind of doing like the same thing with Game of Thrones, where they were basically rushing through the last 2 seasons, each of the episodes, just to kind of wrap up the story. But I will say that this last half of that episode really overcame some of the issues from the first half. I mean, just the way that it really built up to the moment where Rhaenyra is arriving at King's Landing, getting back to control, seeing the fact that Alicent had kept up with her promise and eventually got up to the throne. Of course, we saw that instead of being Aegon, who she would eventually execute, it ended up being Alicent's own father, who we all surprised were to see was actually the one imprisoned. And then we saw the final shot where Alicent is just looking up at Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is just, absolutely kind of scared of how her childhood best friend's going to react, knowing the fact that she basically fulfilled her end of the deal, and now it's a matter of seeing what's going to happen. I think right now we want to see what the consequences are going to be, how much Rhaenyra is going to react to the fact that all of this happened while both her sons have died. Well, the Greens haven't really lost a whole lot. I mean, yes, we do have Aegon, who is burnt, and then we're kind of a little bit unsure about Aemon's situation. It looks as though that he might survive, or I don't know if the last episode meant that he died. I highly doubt that he would have been killed that easily. I think he's probably going to be pampered and rehabilitated by the witch right there. And so we'll see. I think right now we're gonna see how the consequences are gonna be. In a sense, yes, the war has ended, but we still have the internal conflict, so there's a lot more to get through. So yeah, I don't want to blabber much longer because I already waited so much for this episode. So without further ado, let's get right down into watching episode 3 of House of Dragon season 3. Okay, so Daemon's dealing with the brother. Okay. Oh, okay, I can see what's the issue, because they just executed his dad, so ooh. But my god, look at that shot of the dragons. Wow.
Glad news, Lord Ormond. The war is ended, your allies have scattered, and your nephews fled. There is a new queen, and she sits her father's throne. Only bend the knee and swear your allegiance. You may return to Old Town and live your lives in peace.
Have you any proof of your
He hates
claim?
that.
Or am I to trust in the reliability?
Your Uncle Otto encountered it very recently. And
Oh,
the Hightower
uncle.
Guard soon after him. Baron Targaryen. He'll be coming with me.
Oh boy.
You would take him hostage?
Oh. rats. More rats.
The air is thick with ghosts.
Oh, is she having hallucinations?
Not unhappy ones. I see myself as a child coming to...
Surrendered. We have your little prince. Though I still say we should have incinerated them all.
Must justify my father's faith in me.
Grace.
We've not met. I'm your half-sister and our father's chosen heir. You've flown in...
Oh, he's scared.
Oh, as you wish. Confine him to a chamber.
He's a claimant to the throne. You're going to have to kill him.
It's Tywin Lannister. He did not confide in me.
Gold?
It appears, Your Grace, the crown's wealth has been taken.
Taken?
Your treasury is depleted. There is enough to see your court through a week or two. A little longer if you bring back the gold from dead. But he must have told someone.
If he did, it would have been Lord Jasper.
Oh.
Very dear.
Of course. Of
Our
course.
circumstances are...
It seems to me, my queen, that to go to such expense while your people still suffer might set a bitter taste in their mouths.
It is not mere vanity, Joanna. Send to all the great houses. In fact, tell them their queen demands tribute. Remind them who now commands the realm. They betrayed me. In their silence, if not in deed. I've done with them.
Yeah. You kind of can't
Where
deal
is
with that,
Aemon?
yeah.
And then he disappeared.
Oh, so he survived. That's
It
kind
is
of...
days now since Vhagar was last seen.
It is.
We don't have a bounty, it seems.
Yeah.
We will find one. Better yet, to the slayer of Aemond One Eye, I will grant Harrenhal.
I was short. We must requisition a new supply or sit in darkness.
Then requisition.
Oh my god.
Of course, there is none yet to control the oil.
Oh, she's gonna be overwhelmed.
It's a matter for later.
His account or yours? Do not treat me as a fool.
If you require me to foresee every duplicitous scheme devised by Larys Strong, I confess I cannot help but fall short.
Where is Vhagar?
Bars and the parapets not suffer you to pass. I have done all I could. Will you blame me only for what men have done?
You promised we could go.
He is dead. Declare him dead as well. He cannot fight, and if Larys tries to raise him up, you can dismiss him as an imposter.
I guess.
My position is such that I must hope for the capture and death of my son.
I can...
A shrewd gambit, Your Grace.
And let Joffrey be brought back from the Vale. He is next in line. He must now be raised as my heir. Gordon and Aemond having it.
I figured she's gonna have hallucinations. Yep. As I suspected.
Those who cleave to the high towers must be replaced.
Immediately, Your Grace.
Good morrow, Your Grace.
In full sight of the people.
Alas, that it cannot be done.
Huh?
For what reason?
Declared him the rightful king before gods and men.
Yes, Aegon is dead, and I now sit the throne.
So you now say.
Is it...
Nor have the Silent Sisters been summoned to tend to them. You understand that if there has been some kind of error...
Oh, there has been... A dragon appeared to me, in my greatest need.
My gods do not deal in dragons. They are a profane magic created in darkness and pride and lust for power, for impunity. They do not make an enemy of the faith. It exalts and comforts and binds together your people. Underestimate it at your peril.
Oh, don't you dare.
I must confess to you now.
No less stout of heart.
Each has shown himself worthy of more than was given him before now.
Lately in the gullet, you have shown yourself a leader of men.
I was only doing my duty, Your Grace.
And Adam...
My line is ended, and my name erased.
Because Jason and Luce are dead.
It's grown. It is simple enough.
Blockade is lifted. It will not be long now before trade routes are re-established.
It was not only the blockade that drove us to want Your Grace. It was the rich, the noble lords. They bought up everything they could for their storehouses and left the poorer folk with nothing.
Is this true?
I am no... Then that is a matter I would put before my queen, who came to power as a champion of her people.
Uh-oh.
Did you turn your mind to the issue before?
There is no issue. There are bellyachers bleating their dissatisfaction at the order of things.
Lord Corliss.
I defer to the Queen.
What would your father do?
Then I have no style.
So fashion one.
Wow, I'm
White
seeing a lot
one.
more personality.
Right?
Alan Valerian.
And Adam of Hull.
Ooh.
I avow, which all here know, that I mistrusted the Hightower claim from the beginning.
I'm sure that's true.
Sure.
Even if I heard no tale of you rising...
Oh, don't tell me they're rats. They're rats. Ooh, yikes.
Overrun the city. They thieve and fight for every crumb.
And would you not do the same if your children were hungry?
No, I would not.
Admirable restraint. You would lie gentle for all that you hoarded away, and they will bring what they find back to me for distribution to those in my city who need it.
This is unconscionable.
We're being robbed! What the Crown demands of you is not plunder but a duty. And tonight will serve as a lesson in what I will...
Okay. I like this boss move. This is a W. Although we have to see how this acts out. Oh, it's that guy! From Fantastic Beasts, right?
Manderley, is it? Well, rest assured, Sir Torrhen, my memory is long.
They'll resent you for this. So you now have 6. It is a power beyond imagining. Why scrabble here for gold when the world lies before us? Dawn could be ours. And then Essos and the free cities, Yeti and its riches.
Is he really? What? Oh, wow. Wow. This is why you didn't become the king, my dude.
The end serve you. You will have an empire unassailable.
Just because you have an empire doesn't mean they can
You
function.
stylist commandeers and marauders like the pirates that plague us.
I style as gods, Rhaenyra. You still have to kill Darren.
Oh my god.
Mercy, as befits a true queen. In token of which I bring you gifts.
I have given all I had, everything, in service to you. My castle lies in ashes, and so you will insult my house, so that you may be seen to be something you are not.
I have your... It is a matter of legitimacy.
Your son, Joffrey, is a bastard. Your son, Lucerys, whom I accepted as my heir, was a bastard.
Lord Corliss.
Your son, Jacaerys, lived and died a bastard! Say aloud to me the reason your children...
He did only what was expected of him by his elders. Therefore, I will send him north to the wall.
Yikes.
He will take the black, and he will not return. You don't know this boy.
Did they say a fake?
He is not Darren.
He's a fake. Oh, so the other guy was. Oh my god. They said a fake. They said a fake.
Who are you then?
I begged him.
Who compelled you?
Lord Ormond Hightower. He blenched my hair, told me I must play the part of the prince, even if she burned me with dragons.
Has deceived me. Your real son he keeps with him, no doubt. Did he think I would not discover it? Of it.
Your Grace, there was a dragon keeper at the gate.
What is it?
Okay, can I just say that was quite a great episode. It's kind of insane because, you know, a lot of times when we are talking about Game of Thrones and thinking about what really made the show great, like we always talk about the action, the violence, the battles, and that's not to say that those aren't great, but I think one of the greatest things about what made Game of Thrones so great is the fact that we have so much drama and tension and seeing the internal conflict in between people when there isn't actual like violence involved. And this is kind of like a great case of where House of Dragons, it's actually reaching the potentials of what we witnessed back with Game of Thrones, especially at least the early seasons. And I have to say, like with this episode, I was very curious like how Rhaenyra was going to react to everything, how Alicent was going to react to everything. And I think there couldn't be any best way to really showcase Rhaenyra's first days of her reign, like the way that we're seeing. I think it makes sense why what we're seeing here is just a lot of chaos, a lot of anxiety, a lot of exhaustion. I think that's a really good way to describe it, especially when you think about the fact that Rhaenyra didn't even have like a day or so to grieve Jace's death. Like the moment that she found out her oldest son, her firstborn son, died during the Battle of Galette, like she didn't even have hours to kind of grieve. She right away went into King's Landing to fulfill, you know, the situation, to fulfill the plan that she had with Alicent and eventually overtake the throne and become the queen, the rightful queen. As we all know, again, a whole lot of things led to the situation with this Dance of, what was it, the Dance of Dragons or the Targaryen Civil War, and we're seeing how she's reacting to all of this, right? I mean, there's a couple W's and a couple of L's, of course. I think this is kind of evident for what Alicent is saying, is that even though you may want to reign in a certain way, there are times where you may not exactly fulfill your promises, and I think we're seeing bits and pieces of that here today with tonight's episode. I think in one case, it's great that she is trying to champion the people, right? The commoners, those who really don't have enough power, who don't have anything to try and survive. I mean, these are people who are trying to survive in a sense that they have limited resources. They have to basically go by paycheck in the way that, you know, how we feel in our own world, going by paycheck. And when you have so little resources, when you have people of highborn, you know, hoarding the resources, keeping for themselves, I think that is definitely a great way to say, okay, here it is. I am fighting for the people. And yet you can also see how this is also going to bite her in the ass, because then, you know, that's probably going to cause some issues with who are highborns losing their power. This might cause issues all around, let alone the fact that what she did with Corlys is probably going to cause a lot of problems now. I mean, I could see where she's talking about in terms of the timing, but also it's like, yeah, it's very complicated. I think that just really shows how complicated the whole position of being, you know, a ruler of an entire 7 kingdoms is very stressful. And I think one thing that really comes to mind is the fact that, you know, she didn't really get the chance to kind of be in the inside of learning how the job works. And I think that is where a lot of the difficulties are coming upon her. Whereas had she been groomed in a way where she could have actually kind of seen what her father does, how she's communicating about things, how he's making decisions, and I'm sure right now we still don't even have who her Hand of the King's gonna, or at least in this case, Hand of the Queen's gonna be. I'm assuming probably it's gonna be Daemon. Who knows? It could be Corlys. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure it could have been Rhaenys, but she passed away, you know, episodes ago, right? And so so she is so limited in the knowledge of being the queen. I think it's like she has a relief of now finally reclaiming her throne, but now she actually has to do the actual job. And I think the fact that it is so overwhelming for her, it makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she wasn't particularly prepared for the role when you should be if you have claimed someone to be next in line. And unfortunately, Viserys didn't do a very good job of that. But even then, you can see how Rhaenyra is trying her best to somehow inherit the role, trying to do something with the role, at least in a sense that she is being proactive about it. And it's very complicated. And it's like, this is a very perfect imagery of what it's like to be in her position. I love the fact that even, you know, as she's about to start like her first day on the job, she has like her period, and it's just like, okay, this is literally like every woman's like worst part of the month. It's like the last thing I ever want is to have a period when you're dealing with something busy, and it's just like, of course it's gonna happen to her. And I think what's really it's just mind-boggling is the fact that I believe, if I'm reading this right, she is the first ever queen of Westeros. So in a sense, it's like, I love how this episode really takes in a lot of what it feels to be a woman in a high position, like being the queen of Westeros, and still applying those things. I just say, I like the moment, like I was really engaged by all this, and in a sense that I can also relate in certain ways, but also like I'm not the queen, of course, so it's like I'm not actually making those decisions, where it's like I can sympathize with all the hardship she's now having to deal with, the fact that she has such, like, she's basically being like a CEO of like a company, right? And so yeah, I think that this episode really does a great job of showcasing that. And I know that there's been a lot of backlash with how things has been done with the show, but let's not deny that so far what we've seen with this episode, now that the actual war part has been over, it's that we're actually seeing the dialogue, the conflict, the drama. I think the drama is actually the best part of what we've been seeing so far with House of the Dragon, rather than, you know, the actual action part. And this is kind of like the peak of that. And not only that, but I think we're also seeing cases where we can see certain angles of people. Like, I think the fact that Daemon, you know, this is a guy who has been always hungry to have control over the 7 kingdoms, having the throne. I mean, this is a guy that wanted to be the next, you know, heir to the throne, and he wasn't. And in a sense, he also questioned whether or not Rhaenyra should even be the queen of Westeros, until he had that, of course, the prophecy, the dream that he had, which we all know that's actually pertaining to Daenerys and not really Rhaenyra. And, you know, he kind of talks about a lot of that with like Essos and Dorne and all that sort of stuff. And yet, you know, just the way that he is talking about those things and seeing that he's more interested in conquering as much of the world as possible rather than actually trying to solve the issues that's happening internally with what they have so far. I think that, you know, that in itself proves why Viserys didn't want Daemon to have any control of the Seven Kingdoms, why he never picked him as the next in line, just because he knew how he was. He's someone who is very hungry for power, but never really looking at the actual position of king or queen as something to kind of actually resolve issues, trying to take matters in their own hands, trying to make some kind of resolution, trying to make everybody who does live within that kingdom, making sure that there is some kind of balance, that there is some kind of peace, and you can see that. And I think this is where even Rhaenyra is trying to fight that off. Like, well, why can't we just try to solve the situation here first before discussing about conquering all that sort of stuff? And I think, again, this is, like, she's only been on the job for, like, a day or so, and the fact that she's already had so many people go after her, even the fact that Corlys is going so angry at her for not legitimizing his two sons, it's like, it's only been a day or two. Like, let's just take things slowly. And yet everyone wants to go really fast in certain things, and yet also there's still people who are questioning her and her claim to the throne. Of course, like the guy with the faith folks, which I'm assuming that's like the sept, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I let alone the fact that she's still grieving her kids. I mean, right now she's having, I don't want to say denial, but like she's at a stage right now where she is past denial. Of course, we saw that back, last episode. She's just kind of like not really acknowledging it, and she's just kind of trying to block it right now when she really needs like a freaking therapist, because I mean, obviously she needs somebody to kind of help her grieve, and she hasn't properly grieved. So it's like there's just so much happening, Rhaenyra, and I mean, this is again a perfect episode that just showcases everything that's going on. The fact that she has not grieved properly, the fact that she's already jumped in line in the throne trying to do things, yet there's so many people who are upset with some decisions that she's already made when it's only been like day 2 of her power. So yeah, even I was feeling really overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie, even I was starting to feel overwhelmed, and I'm not even the queen. I'm just a viewer. I'm just watching this series, and even I was very overwhelmed. I'm just kind of like, okay. But not only that, but I'm also like very concerned, like what she's gonna do, like what is gonna be her next move. Like, I mean, as I said, I've read certain things, like apparently she was like Rhaenyra the Cruel or something like that. So like something kind of bad happens, but we know that she's hallucinating. So could that be contributing to that? Are we seeing kind of like a Mad Queen situation going on, or is this just the result of her trying to grieve over her kids, and that's now kind of clouding a lot of her judgment in some ways or some form? I don't know. It's only been like the first 2 days of her reign, so it's like we're not even like, we barely started even this whole new era, and yet there's just so much chaos through drama. So, and let's also just talk about the fact that the fact that they actually the High Towers sent a decoy Darren, like a fake Darren. I mean, wow. Like, I was just wondering, I'm like, wait, I thought the Darren that we saw was like the redhead, and I was like, okay, so I guess it's not the redhead. I guess he was blonde, but no, I'm assuming the guy who was like the redhead was actually Darren, which explains why Alicent's like looking at Rhaenyra like, ooh, WTF, that's not Darren. Which also, if you think about it too, that also makes Daemon look really stupid, because Daemon was the one who brought him in and not Rhaenyra, so you can't really fault Rhaenyra for not figuring it out when it was Daemon himself who brought them. Like the one thing he could have done is like maybe done like a dragon sniff test or something, because I'm sure he has a dragon. Like, I mean, they literally have a dragon. We saw the dragon there, and yet he didn't bother to kind of check. But like, yeah, that's on Daemon. So Daemon looks just as stupid as Rhaenyra, or actually more so stupid than Rhaenyra, because Rhaenyra had nothing to do with that. So the fact that they actually managed and to send a decoy, which like the moment that I was like, oh no, don't tell me, and it's like, yeah, so that was kind of a big brain move, and I think this proves that there is still a lot of conflict that's going to happen between the Targaryens and the High Towers. Of course, this time it's no longer Alicent, Aemond, or Aegon, or at least temporarily. It's mostly going to be with Ormond. I guess that's her cousin. I thought he was his brother. That's her cousin. As I said, I'm not well versed with everything Game of Thrones, so or House of Dragon, so I'm still trying to like process everything. So her cousin, that's what it sounds like. Her cousin And it looks like there's still some lingering business to deal with. So and what sucks is that they still have to deal with the fact that they have like limited coins. We don't know where, like, we still haven't even seen the other Lannister, the Lannister that was in the Battle of Galley, because we know that one of them was beheaded thanks to the Starks, and now there's the other one where we don't even really know if he survived the fall, because remember he got pushed off by that Triarchy lady, and now we don't know what happened to him. Aemon is up in the air, and so the fact that it seems that they haven't found him basically confirms that he probably did survive the stab to the blade that he had, of course, at the end. Looks as though that he's probably gonna be pampered by that witch lady, so that's probably gonna happen. So at some point, probably gonna see Aemon come back from the looks of it. But yeah, I love the fact that we're only just into episode 3, and I'm really vibing with the whole drama that's still happening, and that there's still lingering business with the whole like war, which is like I'm glad that we're kind of getting back to the levels of what made Game of Thrones so great, and I'm sure that this might satisfy a lot of people, or maybe this might be kind of a little bit of redemption for Ryan Condal, because I know that he's been getting a lot of backlash for changing so much of the story. I mean, I know, as I said, I read so much about the whole changes with episode 1 of season 3, where a lot of people were not happy with the book changes. But and of course, again, everything that's happening with season 2, I'm sure a lot of people were upset about that. But let's be honest, this was like quality episode, like quality Game of Thrones kind of episode that we had, where lots of drama, lots of emotions brewing, lots of anxiety. I think this is like the perfect way of really showcasing what it's like to be first day on the job as like a CEO, and as a female and CEO, and having to inherit so many problems that wasn't like even exactly started by her. I mean, yeah, she did kind of start the blockade, but like it wasn't really her fault, and she's trying to solve as much of the problems as possible, and yet she's dealing with some L's but dealing with some W's, and we're just, as a matter of saying, how is that going to affect her moving forward? Is she going to get full blown, at some point will she finally crack and go whatever with her powers, or will she try to stick with her merciful route where she tries to be where she tries to give the benefit of the doubt, try to give them second chances, yada yada. We'll see about that. So, and then of course, like I'm curious what this means for Corlys. I'm assuming he's probably no longer gonna stick around as part of her court. She doesn't even have a whole lot of people left. I mean, Daemon's gone to deal with the whole coin situation. All she has left is Mysaria, and yet it's like there's just so much chaos. So you have to sympathize with everything that's going on. But I have to say, I think overall, what a great episode that we had. Like, I honestly was just so engaged. And I mean, let's be honest, like, first off, Daemon, Matt Smith, like the aura that he always exudes as Daemon Targaryen. Like, I mean, honestly, wow, that guy is just absolutely phenomenal when it comes to playing like some kind of jerk husband. I mean, he's done that before with The Crown. I mean, as Prince Philip. So it's like, it's kind of on his level. Like, this is kind of that he's used to, but also like he has to deal with Daemon. Like, Daemon's a little bit of a very aggressive person. So, I mean, it's almost kind of like Prince Philip, but also like he's not really Prince Philip because he's actually a little bit more aggressive. Like he's hungry for power. But I have to say, like, just from the beginning, like the opening, the opener, like the way that he's just trying to get power over Ormond, because he knows how much he hates the High Tower. So it's just like, yeah, what a way to kind of try and have that big ball game, whatever. Yeah. I was just like, wow, that's quite a performance coming from Matt Smith. So, and if this is just a hint of what we're gonna see of his performance, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen for the rest of the season. And of course, that's if he survives season 3, that maybe we'll see more of him in season 4 as well. And then on top of that, I mean, Emma Darcy, I mean, what a performance! I have to say, they are doing. They're really giving quite Emmy level performance this whole season. I mean, that's not to say that they weren't as good in season 2, but wow, just for the first 3 episodes that we've gotten, they have been doing such an incredible job, and I would not be surprised if an Emmy recognition is going to happen sometime next year, because I think right now season 3 might be too late for the Emmy run, so it probably would have to be for next season or next year. But wow, I mean, they're killing it. They're really killing it as a Rhaenyra. I have to say, like, Emmy level performances right there. So let's see how much more of that, comes by. But I think if there's one thing that I wish the show could have been great at is that I wish that season 2 could have executed the whole war situation a lot better. I will agree in a sense where a lot of audiences were very underwhelmed with the level of battle and violence that we should have gotten with, the whole Dance of the Dragons, or at least the beginnings of it. Like, we had the really great outlook of battle of, what was it, Rook's Rest. Great episode. You remember, again, as you guys remember, I literally like bawled my eyes out. Great episode with that, but it did underwhelm after that. I wish there could have been a little bit more consistency with that, and it really went by so quick that I feel like it really did get rushed. Whereas now it's like we're taking a little bit more time of what's been happening afterwards. It's like I wonder what it would have been like if we applied a lot of that same energy, pacing with the elements of season 2. So it's just like it does maybe reflect a little bit on certain situations where things could have been better from past episodes. But even that being the case, I hope that this is now kind of a redemption run of the issues that we've seen with season 2, and maybe this will carry on into the rest of season 3 as well as season 4. But yeah, I think that's all I can really speak about after watching tonight's episode. As I said, absolutely phenomenal, lots of great drama. But I want to know your thoughts, because as I said, I've not read the books, like, not entirely. I only know bits and pieces, but I want to know your thoughts having seen tonight's episode. What do you think? Like, was this what you expected of the consequences of, Rhaenyra taking over the throne now that she's officially the queen? Or I guess you can't say officially because she hasn't been, she hasn't been coordinated in a way properly, and she wasn't really accepted by the Faith guys, but like, even then, she's still doing her queenly duties. So that being the case, was this what you expected? What do you think about the performances so far, especially Amanda Arcee? Like, what do you think about that? I mean, we were seeing bits and cracks of Rhaenyra, yet how is she going to maintain her control, or will she completely lose her mind and become Rhaenyra the Cruel that I think I read about? I might be wrong. As I said, I know only bits and pieces. That being the case, for those who have read the books, what do you think about what we've seen so far? Is this what you expected, or do you think that there's still too many changes that's really hard to get back to what it was originally with the series? Let alone, what do you think is going to happen moving forward? Even for those who have read, like, do you think this may have at least redeemed a lot of the issues before, or enough damage has been done that it may not be enough to overcome the problems? Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure to like and subscribe.